Well, good morning, everyone. 6 a.m. on this Wednesday. Thanks for joining us. I'm Channing Curtis.
And I'm Tim Pham. It's good to see you, friends. Well, if you've been waiting for a warm-up, it is coming. Meteorologist Thomas Patrick joining us. But Thomas, yesterday was really great. Didn't have to water my yard, and so I guess we're trying to think about the positives. But we'll want to do that here soon because it's going to dry out.
Yeah, I've got no more rain in the forecast, in the extended forecast. But yesterday, it rained a lot. It rained in a way that we usually don't get rain in the inland Northwest. Huge raindrops. We even had reports of penny-sized hail with some of the most impressive thunderstorms that we've had of the season in an environment that probably wasn't up to snuff, so really overperformed yesterday. That's what you're seeing between 2 and 10 o'clock yesterday. But as we dry out today, there's your current Doppler radar, and it is all clear for the inland Northwest. There's some residual low cloud cover because of how heavy the rain was. Well, that moisture hasn't quite mixed out of the atmosphere just yet. So you got a bit of a cloudy and maybe even foggy morning in some spots in Coeur d'Alene, but looking a bit better over Spokane this morning as our temperatures are still cool at the moment. But we are warming up in a big way today, 70s this afternoon, and we'll have 80s and maybe even 90s later this week.
Today is Juneteenth, a federal holiday to celebrate the end of slavery in the United States.
So many places across Spokane will be closed today for the holiday. Spokane public libraries are closed, as well as the Spokane County offices, including the county courthouse and county veteran services. Now, all city parking meters will be free today, so if you're heading to downtown Spokane, good news for you there. And services like garbage, recycling, and yard waste pickup will go on as usual.
There are several events happening today also in celebration of Juneteenth. Today, all Washington state parks will be free to enter without a discovery pass. The Spokane Indians will play a doubleheader tonight. Players will be wearing these specialty King Carl jerseys you see. Plus, starting at 11 a.m., there will be live music, food, games, and more at the Juneteenth celebration, community celebration at Grant Park on the South Hill.
And coming up at 6:35 on Up with KREM, we take a look at the history of Juneteenth, how it came to be the newest federal holiday, and why it's so important to our country's history. This morning, we have an update on a missing 2-year-old. The FBI helped Pullman and Moscow police search a home that could be connected to her disappearance.
She was last seen nearly 3 weeks ago on May 29th. Police believe she could have been taken to Mexico by her father, Aaron Ong, and his fiancee, Nadia Cole, who is a WSU grad. The home they searched yesterday belongs to Ong's family. Neighbors told us they saw activity for most of the day, including investigators searching a van outside of the home.
There was, a couple police cars with their lights on, and I was curious about what was happening. So I looked out my front window, and there was probably 5 or 6 police cars going through this green car right here. And yeah, I've seen FBI come and go.
We had a crew there most of the day. Pullman police say they searched for any evidence or information relating to the disappearance of Ong's 2-year-old daughter, but law enforcement stayed tight-lipped about if they found anything. Anyone with information is asked to call their local law enforcement. And new from overnight, the Coeur d'Alene City Council approved an emergency declaration 1 week after a devastating fire burned down a police building filled with critical equipment.
KREM 2's Cody Proctor was at last night's meeting and tells us why police say the declaration was needed.
The whole reason Coeur d'Alene police sought this declaration is because of a fire that burned one of their storage buildings earlier this month. Replacing many of the items inside could cost a pretty penny. According to Coeur d'Alene City Council documents, the June 9th fire could end up costing the Coeur d'Alene Police Department millions. On Tuesday night, Police Chief Lee White appeared before the City Council, asking them to approve their declaration of emergency.
I'm not asking to go on a spending spree or requesting additional funding from council.
The council approved it.
Yep.
English.
Yes.
Chief White says the intent of the declaration isn't to circumvent City Council or go on a shopping spree, but to speed up the recovery process.
In most city governments or state governments, there is a purchasing process that has to be completed when we're spending any sort of public funds.
The building burned in the fire housed the agency's IT, animal control, and code enforcement departments. It also held some of their specialty equipment, including a SWAT vehicle, their incident command trailer, and their new e-bikes. On Tuesday, the Idaho State Fire Marshal's office announced a battery on one of those new e-bikes experienced a catastrophic failure, causing the fire. Chief White says getting that news left him disappointed.
To have something, a new program like that, be so overall detrimental to the department is just horrible. It's going to take us a long time to recover from this.
Now, even with the declaration approved, Chief White says it's unclear on when they'll receive the funds.
We're kind of at the mercy of our insurance provider. We're just waiting for them to determine what the next step is and when they're going to give us funds so we can start moving forward.
Now, some good news with all of this. With Ironman in Coeur d'Alene next weekend, Chief White doesn't expect the fire to have impacted the department too much when it comes to their role in working that event, especially since they work with other agencies on it. In Coeur d'Alene, Cody Proctor, KREM 2 News.
In an effort to bring you more to every story, we looked into how to prevent lithium-ion battery fires as they become more and more common in homes and in other things like e-bikes as well. So here are 4 tips from the International Association of Firefighters. When you buy a lithium-ion battery device, make sure that it is certified. Non-certified devices may not have gone through enough quality checks. Second, make sure you keep your batteries separate from each other. Third is to make sure that you don't leave them hooked up to a charger overnight. And lastly, when you're storing your devices, choose a safe location. They recommend to place them in an open area where the temperature is comfortable and avoid exposing them to direct sunlight.
It is 6:07. Let's take a look at your morning rush. More news in less time. The Kootenai County Sheriff's Office called off the search for a woman who went missing on Sunday night. 62-year-old Linda Kent was last seen near a boat launch at Old Mission State Park in Cataldo. Searchers spent most of the day on Monday combing through the area around the park. Her family says she suffers from dementia. The sheriff's office called off the search because they say they exhausted all of their resources. This morning, a Wenatchee fruit grower is facing more than $300,000 in fines for safety violations. Those violations eventually led to a worker being buried alive in a trench collapse in Othello. It happened when a crew was repairing an irrigation pipe. That worker was saved, but the Department of Labor and Industry says the situation could have easily ended in death. They also say Stem-Ilt, the company behind the trench, knew the risk. Well, some awesome kids in McCall, Idaho participated in a project called So Good, and it's SEW So Good. They made these hand-sewn dogs to give to the police department there so they can give them out to kids who end up in a crisis situation. So it's meant to provide a little extra comfort to those kids, and that is a look at your morning rush.
It is 6:08 as we take you outside. A bit of a cool morning here, as it has been most days this week so far, with our temperatures in the 40s. And yeah, Colville, you are still at 38 degrees. We've seen at least one spot in the 30s the last several days here. That's going to go away because the sunshine is starting to come out here, and our temperatures do start to warm up a little bit more for today. We've also been stuck in the 60s for high temperatures for the most part recently. Today, though, 76 degrees, and we don't stop there either. Tomorrow is the first day of summer, and I go into the 80s for high temperatures there, and almost 90 degrees for this weekend, and a handful of locations will be in the 90s overall. So coming up, we'll show you that and how long this bit of a heat wave, or at least a warm-up, is going to last.